Hey, this is John with the Pathfinders. Wanted to make a quick video talking about the 3D printed thumb throttle for the rad bikes. Real quick about this. This is designed by somebody else who put it on a couple different websites to be shared and basically for public use and for some general sale. We found found the design, printed a couple on our cheap 3D printer, and we put them on our bikes. And we actually really liked them, so we've been kind of offering them to people who are interested for pretty low cost. Just send them out because they're a cheap, quick solution that actually work pretty well. We didn't design them. We just found it and started using it. So I do want to talk to you a little bit about it and the design of it and how to install it for those that we are sending these out to. Otherwise, we're not making this a business. If you're still interested in these things, let us know. We'll be doing small batches at a time. To be honest with you, it's kind of a pain in the butt with shipping, printing, and everything else, and it costs us a little bit of money, but while we have the capability, we'll keep making it for people who are interested and sending them out. This is the 3D printed thumb throttle adapter to go on rad bikes. As you can see, very basic design. A couple things I want to cover about it. You'll see a lip on the outside edge here. This is the face that prints against the print bed. So this is widened out to make sure it has good surface contact. This can be peeled off or left in place. As far as operational, it doesn't really matter, but it's not exactly the prettiest thing. But it works. This side will go against the handlebar, so it's not even really noticeable. On the back side, if you get it, you might see some white material and it's not very smooth and everything. That is the glue that's being used to basically keep the plastic stuck to the table that it's printing on. Otherwise, it's not as pretty there either because it's up against the glass and there's material on it. But that should wipe right off. Not a big deal. It's not harmful or damaging. And once you install it, you can't even really see it. Like I said, you can peel this bottom layer off. It's not worth doing. We've done a couple. It doesn't come off exactly smooth, but it still works regardless, leaving it on or coming off. Okay, so here is one installed on the wife's rad bike, Rad Mini. This is one of the first ones we did that we didn't screw up somehow. Just use a simple screw going through the hole on the top and a simple bolt on the bottom side. Just tighten it up. Doesn't need to be super tight. When you install these things, you'll find that they grip just fine, but they still have enough slack where you can move it up and down and adjust if you need be and push it back. It's still stable where it's at. So I do like the design that it does slip with a bunch of tension on there, simply because you won't break it. But it is sturdy enough to keep the throttle where you want without slipping. If you do want it tighter than that, you can put some sort of material, piece of tape underneath. It will actually tighten the grip on the throttle itself. For those of you that are receiving the one with the screw set, I actually took some time to heat and reshape the bottom so this bolt here is actually inset a little bit more versus what you see here. And I had to use a couple different screw types. A typical flat tip type screw or an Allen head screw. So depending on what you have, the bolt should be set in there to hold pretty well. But as you pull the screw out to install, it might come loose. Just go ahead and set it back in there, tighten it down, it should be fine. This is the same thumb throttle on my bike. And instead of using screws, the simpler method is to get two small zip ties and actually wrap it around there and just tighten them down fairly substantially. Same thing you see, I had to use two linked to each other. It's the same thing as a screw on. It's pretty solid, but if you put a lot of tension on there, it will slide. So you can actually adjust it once you get it on. Works just fine. I was actually going to make myself a hardware one, but this works just as good. Yeah, I'm not even going to pull the old one off, but I will show you how to install this. Being made of plastic, it does have some flexibility. It's enough to where you just come over, make sure the thicker part is on top, and you basically just stretch it open, pull it over, it'll set on there. Either set your zip ties or your screw and your nut combination in there, slide it over as far as it'll go, and just tighten it down, and you have a throttle. Installation's that simple. Or mounting the one with the screw, go ahead, do the same thing, stretch it out. Don't go too far. I mean, it should be fine, but don't go too far. Set it kind of the position you want. You'll either have a regular screw or an Allen head screw. For those of you who got the Allen head screw, I believe It's a 2.5 millimeter screw. I don't remember the hex head size, so you might need a small Allen wrench to get it set in there. Put it in through the top. The screw on the bottom. This one, the screw is not inset like the ones I sent out. So you might have to hold it with your fingers or just hold the nut into the recessed part on the plastic. Begin to tighten it down. As it gets tighter, push it up against the edge right there. As you can see, as it goes up against this tapered part, you won't even notice the ones that have the extra plastic on there. Just tighten it down like so. You don't have to go super tight on there. Look at it just to make sure the two surfaces have come together completely. Snug it up just a little bit. Don't put too much weight on there. It is made of plastic. If you go crazy, it will crack. Once it's tightened up, still loose enough to where if I want it a little bit higher, I can adjust it. Now, what we recommend is once you get it on, before you turn the bike on, leave the bike off, adjust it, put your hand on there, and see where it's comfortable for your thumb. So right here, I could put my thumb up here and bring it down. I want to bring it down just slightly for myself. That's better. Advantage to having this throttle is instead of trying to change your grip, roll over here, twist like this, loosening your grip on the handle for those of you who aren't motorcycle riders, being a partial throttle here, this just makes it a little bit easier to give it a little bit extra throttle when you need it versus having to change your grip. Now, just as a warning, this is an electric bike, but if you keep the throttle on all the time because it's easier, just be wary of that. You are putting extra wear and tear on your motor. Shouldn't do anything, shouldn't cause you any problems. I just find myself using the throttle a little more frequently now because I can. So that's the story with the throttle. Just a really simple, cheap solution. Trying to make it kind of available for people who have rads who are interested. We're not going to be doing this for a long time. It does burn up a lot of resources for us and actually costs. It's not profitable. I'll just leave it at that. Profitable. I'll just leave it at that. But if you are interested, I'll leave a eBay link in there. I have a couple items in there. If people buy them up, I'll send them back out. We're asking for a few bucks plus shipping. Have the total price in there, just to help cover cost and shipping.